first semi-final, Muna obviously qualifying from the first round, and DrJ. So it's China up against the US, and shortly after that we'll have Longer versus Lojum, and that'll give us our 2 finalists.
Okay, so we have no Europe anymore, huh? Just NA versus Asia, the good old rivalry.
Yeah, that was kind of similar to what happened last year as well. China took down the 2018 tournament, so could it be a repeat?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm surprised Europe's gone. Europe's generally considered a very strong region in Hearthstone, yeah, so there's only 8. Anything could happen.
Yeah. And the next match, I'm looking forward to seeing Muna versus DrJ. Muna has got a very unusual lineup. We saw in the first round, he had like Holy Smite Priest. This is like the big priest with a lot of combo pieces, and he's also running the Mecha Cthulhu Warlock. Sorry, I lost there. Couldn't think. I was going to say Druid. And DrJ's kind of got like your kind of standard aggro lineup with some tempo stuff in there. So how do you think this is going to pan out?
Yeah, it's weird. On one hand, Mooner has some, control-y decks, which should be good against aggro, but a lot of his control-y decks are actually kind of more like combo-oriented, They're not really anti-aggro. Like, you see this, like Mecha Cthulhu Warlock, you see Big Priest, but Big Priest are kind of weak against aggro, and his Big Priest is not running... Super
weak, I think, against... Without the statue,
right.
I think it'll struggle. It's almost like Mooner's tried to target kind of a control lineup. But he did, even though he's targeted that, he still did well in the first set to kind of beat that aggro lineup. So it'd be interesting if he can do it again. But I think DrJ's aggro lineup, I kind of prefer that with the Kingsbane Rogue. I think that's like a secret bit of treasure no one else has taken.
I want to see more DrJ pop off. It should be cool.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, with these decks that he's playing against, I think DrJ will have more time to actually like go into a bit more of a late game kind of Kingsbane match, because the other games he was playing against like tempo and aggro decks, he kind of felt like he had to go for that Hail Mary play with the Myra's Unstable Portal. So it'd be interesting to see how that deck does pan out into like a longer kind of match.
Yeah, I wonder if like the lack of Leeching Poison is going to affect his win rate in longer games, even against control, you know, especially since a lot of Mooner's control kind of decks are actually more burn oriented. Like his Big Priest is pretty Mind Blast heavy.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll matter against this Mechathune deck, actually.
It would be super interesting. It'd actually be really interesting to see exactly what each player is going to ban out, because a lot of the decks there, if I was DrJ, I would take a look and I'd probably keep the Warlock around, because I think that's going to be pretty weak against some of the aggro decks.
He bans Warrior for sure.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I completely forgot. Actually, yeah, he's got that odd Warrior. Yeah, that's definitely going to happen.
But yeah, I don't know what Mooner bans, though. It could be interesting. DrJ is all aggro.
Yeah.
I guess Mage is a pretty good anti-control aggro, having like Aluneth and a lot of burn. Otherwise, I could see Rogue as well. Probably one of those. I don't honestly know.
Yeah,
it's very close.
That's I agree, because like Rogue's got disruption stuff with Sap, and his DrJ's Mage, like it goes through most of like Big Priest, and it'd go through the likes of the Warlock deck pretty quickly as well if it gets a decent start. So yeah, maybe might see a ban on Mage, I think, from that end. But it would be interesting to see how that does pan out. I'd say DrJ would probably be a favourite in this, because I think Mooner's lineup is more targeted just to that control type of style.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how Mooner kind of only has one anti-aggro control deck. It's kind of weird, running that kind of lineup in a ban format, because they can just ban your Warrior as an aggro deck, and then you're left with kind of this, weird lineup. Who knows, though? I want to see some Spirit Lash with spell power.
Yeah.
Like that might just
super heal.
Right.
Forget Reno. You don't need anything like that. Joe, when you were playing your on the ladder last month, what did you find was the most like effective for kind of like getting into that top 100?
I was playing a lot of like control pallies, like maybe combo pallies, things like that.
Yeah.
You don't see any here because of the equality nerf now, but 2-mana equality, I love to play control pally. I played a lot of anything.
Yeah.
And I played a lot of. I even just played almost like the standard list of OTK Uther palette with Brewmasters.
Yeah. I mean, in Wild, you've got access to like Ember Forest and stuff like that, and the Auctioneer as well to make that a little bit. Is it more reliable? I'm not too sure actually, or is it just better to bounce the actual Horseman back?
I did both. I mean, it really depended on matchup. I didn't even run Auctioneer, you know, because most of the spells were pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I kind of focused on getting the Shirvala, the Tiger, down to 0 mana ASAP, and oftentimes I would just win by bouncing Tigers over and over again with Holy Wrath. Sometimes, otherwise, just against aggro, you would just get a cheap Tiger and start bouncing them, and you instantly heal. It's like a Reno, you know, you instantly heal full while clearing the board. So it was a fun deck to play.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the decks that we're seeing in the tournament are pretty representative of what we see on ladder, like in like an average of like a session playing on Wild. You know, you do run into quite a couple of big priests. You do run into the likes of Odd Rogue, Kingsbane Rogue that we're seeing here. Odd Paladin, not so much. I think, like you say before, the ladders was more favoured towards like the kind of OTK style of Paladin. But yeah, I do like the what's being brought to the actual tournament. Even like I was a bit shocked actually. There's not many Reno decks, because I was expecting like a Reno Warlock to be at least one Reno Warlock to be like present in the actual sets.
Yeah, you've played more well than me, and you know, so you'd know more. But it felt like Reno decks were always tier 1 in Wild for, you know, the longest time. You know, Mage has been falling off, but Priest and Warlock seem to always go pretty strong as far as Reno variants go. But yeah, you don't see very many here. I don't exactly know why.
Yeah, and I completely forgot to mention as well before, no Hunter decks at all have been brought, and I think that's just down to Hunter is in a bit of a weird place in Wild where it's not good enough as an aggro deck, it's not good enough as a kind of a mid-range deck, so it's fallen kind of on the wayside. And with the nerfs to like Spellstone and the Hunter's Mark, it's probably made it a little bit less desirable to bring in this tournament setting. But you mentioned before actually the mech Hunter, which is crazy, like aggressive, like an all or nothing type of thing, where if you don't get like Mech Warper or is it Galvanizer, then you kind of like you kind of like start falling behind.
Yeah, when I was playing Wild, most of the hunters I saw, surprisingly, I would just mulligan for like some beast hunter at first, you know, not having a lot of Wild experience, but eventually I noticed that every single hunter I played was like a mech hunter, you know, it was like the only, I guess, like good performing hunter for the most part. I got blown out a lot by Mech Warper draws into Metal Tooth Leper.
Yeah.
That card's insane. You know, once you get, you know, 3-4 mechs going, Metal Tooth Leper just instantly creates like a 30 power board. And they can... I've actually, you know, I had a funny story. I lost this hunter. I think he was AFK or he was trolling. I think he was either AFK or fake AFK, but he went AFK for 3 turns, and on turn 4 he played, you know, Mech Warper, 2 more mechs and Meltooth Leper, and killed me in the next turn. He didn't even hero power turn 2 and 3. I don't know what happened, but then I was pretty sad.
He's probably role playing as the what's that AFK character from one of the adventures? I forgot what she's called now.
AFK?
Yeah, I think is it AFK? I think it is. If she just like overloads with loads of like giant cards on turn 6. Yeah, probably doing that.
I don't know.
But we'll be back after this short break with the first set of games. Welcome back. We're just setting up for the first semi-final, and just speaking to Scripes over there, I'm wondering exactly what's going to get... Oh, there's the bands there, actually. There you go. So you're right there, Warrior band, and actually Dr. J's Rogue. I was kind of excited to see the Kingsbane Rogue actually getting some play there, but maybe too powerful. Mooner a little bit too scared of the potential of what that Rogue can actually do. Yeah. Are you surprised by that, or...?
No, I mean, we got the predictions pretty well. We definitely expected Warrior on Mooner to be banned, but for Dr. J, we were thinking like Mage or Rogue, so, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a bit of a toss-up between which one is going to be more problematic for the kind of like control decks to deal with. But we see their Mooner leading with Big Priest again. This version's a kind of like Mind Blast and Holy Smite version. And straight into Dr. J's Even Shaman.
Yeah, this matchup, one weird thing about Wild is they usually keep Shadow Word Pain in these control priests, and in Standard, you almost never see Shadow Word Pain in priests, like it's kind of cut.
Yeah.
And from when I was playing a lot, one thing I realized is oftentimes Shadow Word Pain is for this matchup because there's Totem Golem in Wild, and it's such a good counter to Totem Golem.
Yeah, if you can stem that initial kind of board lead with Golem and a couple of the other 2-drops, then you have a much higher chance of like transitioning to like turn 6, turn 7 beyond kind of play. But
yeah. Especially with Excavate Evil being like a 3 damage AoE and Totem Golem having 4, being able to powered Shadow Word Pain against the Totem, then just clearing out everything is really nice here.
Yeah. And this is probably one of the worst starts you could have as a Big Priest. Having Spellstone in hand this early and drawing two of the two of the minions. This is only I believe I'd have to double check this. I believe this is only a 4 minion deck as well, where it's just Prophet Velen, Yasiraj, Malagos, and the Emperor. So he's drawn a good chunk of those already. So it kind of makes his Barnes or Shadow Essence potentially a little bit worse.
Yeah, that's a really... It's almost like not a Big Priest anymore,
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like a... it's almost like a Cloning Gallery Priest, if you've played that deck.
Yeah.
It's been played in Standard for a while. Sometimes you only run 4 minions in a Cloning Gallery Priest, because then when you play the Spellstone, you get back, the exact cards you want.
Exactly,
and those can be, like Malagos, Velen, Radiant Elemental, and something else where you just combo 1 turn kill. Obviously this is not exactly it, because you don't really run Radiant in a Big Priest. It's kind of like a hybrid version, but you kind of have Emperor, so it's like it's almost like the similar concept. You just res your board and one-shot your opponent, and you kind of use your Spirit Lashes as kind of like a answer all in this kind of deck.
Yeah, for removal and kind of go for like some health back, depending on what wide the board is. Unfortunately, the Mooner went for a Shadow Vision there. I think he was looking for a death to deal with Faceless Flame Wraith, and unfortunately he ended up spending the turn finding another Shadow Vision. So it's not looking too great right now. Already down to 7 HP.
Wow, yeah, I like Dr. J's call to not even play Thing from Below, because he realized that a lot of times on 6 you get light bombed.
Yeah.
So he just decides to use the burn so he can refill the board with Thing from Below after. He actually technically even has a small chance for a lethal after light bomb if he rolls a spell power and crackles for
25% crackle. Yeah,
probably not going to go for that, but even after, even if there was a light bomb, it's 1 turn too late, or he found it from
he got it from the Shadow Vision. Yeah. So
okay, it's dead.
Well, that's guaranteed lethal.
I feel like we didn't even talk about the game. So okay, he's dead.
Yeah. He's far more relaxed now. He's getting into the swing of things. I mean, that was down to like a really unfortunate draw for Big Priest. But I'm not even going to call it Big Priest anymore. Kind of like a combo priest. But that was... I feel like that's going to be the story of that matchup. All of Dr. J's decks are going to do that to that Big Priest, essentially. And I think he's probably heavily... Well, I think he's heavily favoured in this set, just because of the style that Moon has gone for. So it'd be interesting to see, how Mooner handles this now, if he goes for the same deck or if he switches to his Warlock.
Yeah, especially going down 0-1 against a lineup that probably counters yours. It's going to be hard to make the call. I can see both Priest and Warlock having a very hard time. I mean, imagine like playing a Mecha'thun Warlock. You have to draw through your entire deck before you win against an aggro deck that's just trying to beat you down. And a lot of your cards, historically in this Mecha'thun deck is things like just cycle. Mooner has a cool version of Mecha'thun where he's not exactly running too many cards like Acolyte of Pain, Novice Engineer. He's actually having a deck that's mostly like power plays with Mecha'thun.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't cycle through his deck nearly as fast as the standard versions of Mecha'thun, but he has more defensive things, which should be good for him.
Yeah, I mean the likes of Sense Demon, which does pretty well in the in this wild deck, and Doom and Solarium, which are pretty cool inclusions as well. Doom, I don't really see that much. I don't think that sees much play in the kind of Mecha Cthulhu lineup. So we didn't see it last game because he got quite a lucky devolve roll. But I can imagine, if you do get to that point in the game where you are, it's unlikely like a 10 mana, but you get to that point in the game and you're able to like cycle out, 4 or 5 cards and remove the board. That can be pretty strong power play.
Yeah, the standard Doom is the Blood Bloom and Doom.
Oh yeah. 10 damage, draw. Oh god. As many minions on board as cards, and then
it can be worth it. Even taking 10 just because you clear out so much, power on board, and you get the draw. But we'll have to see. He does run 2 Blood Blooms in his deck, so he can use.
He's got the potential. Yeah.
One for Doom.
But we do see an unfortunate draw of patches from the mulligan, and this is
why did he do the patches over the... Okay, I guess it makes sense. He did the patches over the Sassy deckhand, but it makes sense because you might... I don't know, it doesn't make sense. It's better against 1/1s because you're not trading your 2/1 for a 1/1, but against something like a Firefly, it's worse. Who knows? He said it was a mistake.
But yeah, this will be like this is probably Mooner's best chance to pull a game back is with his Paladin. So I imagine if he's able to do it, it'll be with this and Witch's Cauldron. We didn't see that last time, but I was really excited to see if Dr. J can get a bunch of wacky like evolve or some wacky shaman cards from that.
Yeah, it looks like I wonder if this Witch's Cauldron influences this line a lot because leaving up this guy is so bad for yourself, but on the other side of it, if you go Owl here, you have no minions to trade in for Witch's Cauldron. So I think it's because he drew the Cauldron that he decided not to silence this Stewart here.
Yeah, I like that. No, you do sacrifice the potential of giving up board, but then you have some potential of getting some swing cards from Shaman. I mean, imagine a devolve onto this now would be insane.
Yeah, Shaman actually has a ton of AoE. You get Maelstrom, Pearl, Lightning Storm, Volcano, so he's definitely looking for some of these things.
That's unfortunate.
What was that?
Nothing.
Nothing, okay.
That's 1 mana, 1 mana do nothing.
Okay, that's a pretty good card.
That one, for every totem you have on board, you gain 1+1.
Oh, right. I used to like that card a ton. I used to love clicking the hero power button and then, getting that Valley Primal. I forgot about that card. Okay, well, there it goes. Do nothing.
Yeah, he's definitely unfortunate on where he got the Reincarnate won't do anything really in this matchup. But maybe Reign of Toads? No.
This can get very snowbally very fast with Quartermaster coming down next turn.
I don't think there's much of a way out. A lot of the cards that Dr. J has in hand here are expensive or require some semblance of board to make them good, like Fungalmancer. Yeah, I suppose Divine Shield Hero Power is his best bet here, but it looks like Mooner is going to be from the looks of it with just the Quartermaster play coming up next. He's going to draw this back to 1/1, and then Mooner will have 2 very difficult decks to kind of pilot around Dr. J's aggro lineup.
I mean, Mooner must be so confident here because last turn he didn't even play Quarter Creeper, and generally there's no reason ever not to play Quarter Creeper in this matchup out for 0 mana. So the only reason he did that was because Dr. J has a couple of random Shaman cards, and he's trying to play around a Volcano. That's like a super low odds play, but
it's probably best. Yeah, I imagine like just to play around the potential of that swing is probably a good idea.
Yeah, because he's so far ahead that he feels like he can basically give up a free 2/5 that turn just to play around, a 2% chance because he feels that far ahead. So, Mooner's feeling very confident in this game to make a play like that for good reason,
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a line of play that. I mean, Rain of Toads would drop 2 frees onto the board, but other than that, you could reincarnate. You could reincarnate a 4/3. So it becomes a 1/1. So yeah, I mean, Silence and Reincarnate and Firefly would drop some power down here. I don't know if it would be enough though to recover.
Dr. J has to use his life as a resource and use the Random Toads later because dropping Random Toads here, so you're playing 3 2/4s.
Yeah, they just trade too well into the recruits.
Yeah, there's like 3 4/3s against 3 2/4s. It's like it's like literally the perfect trades for them. And you'd overload for your Vine Cleaver. I don't really see a way out though, because now you just don't have any life to use Vine Cleaver anyways. So looks like it's just dead.
It's lethal, yeah, with the extra 4. Right, so Mooner wrapped up there with the 1/1. I mean, like I say, Mooner has brought like an interesting lineup. He's got anti-aggro, anti-control, and that kind of like aggressive paladin. So he has brought like a range of kind of like styles of decks. 2 of them practically are the same with the priest and the warlock. So this is where it's going to be an uphill struggle, I think, because now Dr. J has got that paladin and his mage to try crack through those kind of anti-control decks.
Yeah, actually, you saying like a wide variety of decks. That's a very last hero standing type of lineup, you know, where you want to bring answers to everything because you kind of get to pick what you want playing last hero standing. In Conquest, oftentimes you want to bring a lot of one things.
Yeah.
So you can kind of target something. So interesting to see how that goes. Mooner picks up a win with one of his, I guess, his easy to win with deck, because Odd Pally should be one of his, best decks against Dr. J.
Yep.
So it's still not looking great for Mooner. He has 2 rough decks coming up. Both of those decks seem like they would have a hard time against the aggro decks.
Yeah, I mean, with the priest, even I suppose if he did manage to draw the Barns out on 4, there's potential of him hitting the likes of Malagos. I mean, with that, once you hit a Malagos for a Velens, then you've got Spirit Lash potentially to just regain a lot of health. So it's not completely out of the question that he could combat that kind of like aggro lineup with a nice Spirit Lash. So it might be, maybe Dr. J will play around that by maybe not committing too many resources to the board if that ever happens. But yeah, we'll have to see how that does pan out. And again, with the Warlock, it's really difficult. I loved watching that first set of games where the Evolve happened and it prevented lethal a couple of times. But yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Mooner to actually deal with these two more decks left.
Yeah, oftentimes, Barnes can win against anything at the end of the day. It's just about the consistency of that. Oh, it looks like we're going straight into the next one. Mechathune. Yep,
so this is, we get a good chance to see all of Mooner's lineup here, so choosing not to go for the the combo style priest again.
Right. What is the sacrificial pack in this deck for, do you know?
Oh yeah, he's got Void Caller and Void Lord.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's just to prevent aggro lineup. So I guess he's got Sense Demons, so he's looking for those set of cards, and it's a little bit of life total. That actually won him the game in the first set. Actually, it was a tap into a Void Caller and Sacrificial Pack to get the Void Lord out, which just prevented enough damage on an even Shaman. But we do see the Alnif draw, and I believe there's no weapon removal in Mooner's deck.
Dr. J's opening here is pretty nuts. You have a you have a a 2-drop into a 3-drop with a secret, and that's discounting your Cabal Crystal Runner. Now you have the Mad Scientist pull another secret, and the thing is, Mooner kind of has to play around the full range of secrets here. Dr. J even has, I believe, one of a potion of polymorph, and that is a disaster if it ever hits your Void Caller, because it just polymorphs and you don't even get the Void Lord out. So
that with this deck. Yeah, you always want this early chip damage from Dr. J's minions is perfect, because then he's transitioning into a turn 6 Alanith, which is going to transition to all his burn, and because Mooner's deck doesn't have that much reliable kind of healing cards, it's going to be really difficult at that point for him to actually pull that back. So with this is perfect. When you play in a tempo mage, this is exactly what you want to happen. So he's already dealt 12 damage to face, and then he's transitioning.
Oh, holy, see that
we got
pickup. That's a good top deck.
Oh.
Without that, then this is a totally another game where you can't get a Void Lord out. Now this is blanking out the entire board. This Void Lord effectively has 18 health. That Dr. J has to go through.
I just like just pinging one off and then just playing out the valet, even though you don't activate it.
Do you like pinging your own
Scientist, you think?
Scientist, so you can get the 3 damage on Valet. I have to think about it a little bit. That seems like reasonable to me, though.
I guess if you did that, you'd leave a 1-up.
And you'd kill a 1/3, but you kill your own Scientist. It's pretty close, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the Frostbolt's now a really scary, because he also runs actually he's only got 1 copy of Ice Lance in his deck, I believe. Yeah, I think he's only run 1 copy of Ice Lance, Dr. J, but they become so valuable over the next couple of turns with the Alanith active. This is going to be really tricky for Mooner to actually pull out of.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize how cool Mooner's list was initially, because Mooner has a lot of cool things going for his list. He's running this Mechthune list to counter control, but his rest of his deck is kind of based around getting a very fast Void Lord on board against aggro. Yeah, with the Sense Demon, I guess you keep that in the mulligan, and you almost guaranteed not a guarantee, but it's a very high chance that you've got that combo then in hand. Right, and then that allows you to actually play, Bloodweaver Gul'dan, which sometimes you don't see in Mechthune decks, and a huge bomb against aggro. So this game can still go any way. I mean, Dr. J has so much damage here with Alanith and all the damage in his hand. Mooner still needs what does he need? He needs some way to get out. He needs healing, is what he needs, right? Yeah. So his Spellstone is upgraded now, so as soon as Dr. J plays any minions, there's a good chunk of health coming back. He's also got a Siphon Soul in hand there. So I don't think you ever win. Mooner never wins this matchup with the combo. He just wins by surviving enough to fatigue out Dr. J, I think, with the Alanith ticks over the next couple of turns. So I think he just has to attempt just to live through a good chunk of Dr. J's burn. I'm wondering if it's just worth not playing a minion there and just going face, because then you're kind of forcing Mooner to siphon his own minion and kill his own minion off. Right. So the thing about this Emperor, that was actually such a good play by Mooner, because if you think about it, most minions do not need to be killed, but Emperor is kind of special in the sense that it's constantly discounting a potential Gul'dan, and the earlier that Gul'dan comes down, Mooner's deck doesn't even have enough healing to out-heal Dr. J. Siphon Soul heals 3, Spellstone heals 7, but you have to damage yourself to even, get that healing. So Bloodweaver Gul'dan's actually the only way that Mooner can out-heal DrJikininki's full arsenal of burn. Kind of hard to say. So, that Emperor is it was kind of like a forcing play, because now Dr. J is scared of early Gul'dan, and early Gul'dan is effectively infinite healing, Yeah, I do like that line that he took. I mean, he does surprisingly have. It's not like the same as a Reno deck where you just go in for an all-in heal at the right time against an aggro deck. He does have little increments of healing with the Dilax and stuff like that, and Siphon Soul. So I just don't think it'll be enough overall with the amount of burn that Dr. J is going to be drawing into now, and also the counterspell coming up soon as well. I think it's going to be a bit tricky for him to just
get out of burn range of this, especially with Forgotten Torch as well.
Right. One thing we saw in previous series was right after one of the players played Lotheb, immediately was responded by a Shadowy Brandu. And we can see if Dr. J doesn't play Lotheb this turn, we can see a similar situation with Gul'dan. You know, one of the things about Lotheb is that it makes your opponents have a hard time playing what they want.
Yeah.
And you know, just playing a big 10 drop like a Gul'dan or you know, Void Lord or something allows you to basically bypass the Lotheb's battle cry.
Not the best selection of from spells from that glyph there. Going with Snap Freeze. I'm guessing just to stop the attack of one minion, because I guess you could shatter it, but I don't think there's much need in doing that.
Yeah, I think Dr. J is actually trying to dump his hand because he's drawing 3 cards from Aloneth.
Yeah.
So he's maybe just taking cheap spells so he doesn't.
Oh, that'll be the reason. Yeah.
Looks like no need for Lotheb here, even though turn 9 here is perfect before Gul'dan comes on turn 10. He realized that it doesn't matter, even if he plays Lotheb here, he's never getting through this Void Lord. So he's gonna just
take the secret from it and
face the place.
So that's his one and only Ice Lance, I believe. Oh, test of a counter spell, just making sure he gets the Spellstone in there for the extra healing. Oh, yeah, that's not the card that you want to see burnt off.
Mooner is not going to play those imps. He does not want to get Explosive Rune. You know, it'd be really weird for Dr. J to play Lotheb this turn. You know, perfectly into the Gul'dan. You know, why not play last turn if you're going to take this line? I would have figured that at this point he just doesn't care about the board and just goes all face. I guess the downside of that is he just doesn't have any burn if you look at his hand.
Yeah.
So he is kind of forced into this line. It's definitely unfortunate.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising actually that those little increments of healing have actually managed to just outlast the damage from the Tempo Mage. I think that he's looking pretty solid now. So he gets, I think that's every demon that he's played that he got back there. Would you trade the? No, obviously not. No, you get the what? No. Ignore me.
Okay, well, you're dead as DrJikininki here. Aloneth kills, so basically Aloneth's gonna kill you in 2 turns. End of the
plus
second
the damage,
turn. Right, even if there was no minions, and there's no burn here, it's not possible to get that much damage in.
No, I'm surprised. I honestly thought the Tempo Mage would have had enough damage over a couple of turns to actually like lower the Warlock enough, but Muna with that kind of incremental healing from his mechs, from his Mistress of Mixtures and Spellstones, really well done.
Yeah, it was really just the turn 4 Void Caller plus Sacrificial Pact into the Void Lord that just bought Mooner enough time. And it paid off for him to build his deck like that, because even though he didn't get Sense Demons to pull off the combo, his deck is built around this combo. You know, he clearly feels like it's important to have that turn 4 Void Lord, and he really built his deck to be able to do that a lot. So, good deck building by Mooner.
I think I've underestimated the amount of actual healing in that deck there, because all he has to do against that type of aggro deck is just outlast them for long enough to get his Gul'dan online, and that's a huge lockout for them. So we've now surprisingly 2-1 up for Mooner, and he's left with his combo priest. So I think it's all reliant on surviving enough with removal, turns 2 to 4, hoping for like a Barnes hit, and hoping for a Shadow Essence hit.
Right, in a bad matchup, you can always go for Barnes, right? So he basically has 2 chances to Barnes turn 4, turn 3. There's obviously other ways to win, and obviously Barnes isn't even a guaranteed win with this kind of priest, because you can Barnes into like a Malygos or a Velen, and then just simply not have the Spirit Lash and things like that.
With no real defensive tools in there, it's reliant on that kind of early dominance with, like you say, Spirit Lash, and hopefully maybe you could probably. I wonder what the fastest turn is you could do that with Mind Blast. Like if you coin Barnes, and then you got a Velen. No, coin Barnes into Yasiraj into a Velen's, then you resurrect the Rasiraj, and then you get the Malygos. maybe turn 6.
You mean like nothing
Just
dying
wait.
and just...
Just wait. Or you could resurrect. Yeah, I guess so. You could maybe resurrect 1 and try it, but yeah, that's wishful thinking, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. It's usually... I mean, if they don't kill your Yasharaj, you basically just punch him in the face for 10. It'll be dead like that, but we'll have to see.
So we're back on the Burn Mage, or Tempo Mage, you should say. And yeah, if Dr. J does take this one, he'll be left with his Paladin deck to attempt to bring it back to a 3-2. But we'll see. Starting hand, actually not that bad for Muna.
I'm kind of surprised to see Dr. J decide to keep his Primordial Glyph in the mulligan. I suppose it's because he had a coin, so he can coin out Archaeologist and guarantee that he has a 2-drop.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like, preloading this glyph has too much effect in this matchup, and it's more about, trying to overload the board early rather than just finding spells.
Do you think he's kept that to potentially find either a big piece of burn or something like a polymorph?
Yeah, I suppose. Polymorph's huge in this kind of game. Ooh, potion. What does Potion of Polymorph do against Big Priest?
Practically nothing. it hits Barnes, and all the early game pulls are from spells, so it's only if they ever play a minion from hand, which is very kind of rare. So it's a kind of... is that a top deck?
That is not a...
Okay.
Emperor.
Okay.
Emperor. Emperor is actually probably a better Barnes, a better Yasharaj pull than Malygos or Velen is, actually. Because
the reoccurring value from that reducing the hand is probably better than for the early game. It's better because obviously you're getting more value from the actual reductions. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like this light bomb here coming down 1 turn earlier. He also could have Shadow Essence in 5 because of the Emperor. So those are some big potential pulls. Oh, I like this counter spell here to blank out this Shadow Essence or a Resurrect effect.
Yeah, you could test it with Spirit Lash, but
he kind of has to.
Yeah, he loses a bit of healing, but with this line of play, he's kind of taking away that healing, but getting a large minion out to potentially kind of end the game a bit quicker, I guess, or have something on board.
Yeah. Now we kind of see how this priest compared to the the more standard big priest can have some trouble because a more standard big priest would have just run away at this game at this point. Whereas Mooner here, I mean, everything's gone right for him, right? He has had a turn 4 Barnes into
a board clearer on the next turn, and then into Shadow Essence.
Right. And you see how it's still a kind of awkward position because even if he starts rezzing Malygoses, without the support cards for them, they might not do much. Dr. J is going face, doesn't even care about the Malygos.
Because it is, with these resurrects that he gets, it is all down to the hand that he's got, and the likes of Excavated Evil and Eternal Servitude right now just aren't going to cut it. If Dr. J does continue to go face, and Muna doesn't get the likes of Mind Blast or another Spirit Lash, he is in danger of just being ticked away.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, what is... That's actually a good order that you attack first here to play around splitting damage before Excavate. Not hitting face.
Yeah,
what is this? Mooner knows what he's doing.
That's such a good play.
Uh-huh.
I guess he also tests for Effigy with that one. Yeah.
Duplicate. Although none of it doesn't matter how to duplicate. Yeah.
That's a good read, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was a random secret because he tracked it off the Primal Glyph, so... But yeah, it's you could Spellstone here, I guess. It's not too bad.
Spellstone.
Is it for free? Yeah, he's got it upgraded to free, so he gets his Emperor back in Malygos.
This board is scary, but Dr. J at this point cannot fight for the board. There's no way. Dr. J is just face is the place at this point. You can lock out some stuff with Lothab if you're scared of this 5 spell power from Malygos, but honestly, it doesn't, if he had Spirit Lash, still play it.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, 7 mana.
Yeah, he's just playing out the minion, 5/5.
Yeah, he's probably forcing Mooner into trading these minions up, and then...
Oh, look at that. That is a Spirit Lash.
Oh, he top decked it again? Oh. Yeah, that's beautiful.
I wonder if he's. It didn't seem like he was scared of counterspell. He went all face first before popping off the Spirit Lash.
Yeah. His other line of play was only to Siraj then.
Yeah. I mean, I think Mooner maybe could have not attacked face before the Spirit Lash. He doesn't actually need the damage. I'm not sure. Maybe he does. Because, you can just lose that face damage even if you're Spirit Lashing your own minions. That way, if it's counterspell, you can trade off your minions still. But who knows? Looks like Mooner's in super
It actually worked. That might, yeah. Is that a good thing that I polymorphed that? Probably not. I'm just trying to think on if you do resurrect stuff now.
Oh, the Aluneth giving Dr. J maybe a chance. Who knows? I mean, I wonder if Dr. J has enough damage
he's
left.
used quite a lot of burn already on the likes of Malagos. Like he only runs one copy of Iceland, so like his potential to burn from 30 is severely reduced now because all the chip damage he did get from minions just went away with that one Spirit Lash.
Yeah. Actually, even this he has to trade here. If Dr. J just goes face for 4, Mooner can just hero power and heal 2 of it back. So decides to make one last trade before all face again. Mooner basically has to blank out a lot for Dr. J to win this game. Not the best.
Yeah, that's probably the worst out of the resurrection pool. Yeah, I'm just going over in my head how many burn cards have been used already. So I mean, all the damage that he gets from these minions is really important. But yeah, Mooner's out of Spirit Lashes now. He's used both, so any damage he puts in now should stick. It's only his hero power that's going to be topping Moon up.
There's a Psychic Scream, but again, when you're Psychic Screaming against Aluneth, there's also the downside of you're putting all those minions back into your opponent's deck, and those minions are going to come back at you pretty fast, So
he did have the choice there to go for a Great Healing Potion.
Wait, is this lethal?
Oh, of course, yeah.
That is definitely lethal. Unless that's an Ice Block. Probably it is.
Yeah, we didn't see the on the graphic. No. Okay. Right, that wraps that up. I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised by that. I thought that with that type of lineup, that aggro would have kind of prevailed out of those two deck choices. But yeah, well, shut my mouth, eh? Yeah. So what you think then? I mean, going into the final now, Mooner, looking how those decks performed against aggro twice. He's got a really, really good chance of just repeating that success again.
Yeah, Mooner's lineup is pretty well balanced. His tech choices for his Warlock is awesome, and the Priest, still having the Spirit Lash. The Spirit Lash is really well locked up the game, right? Clearing the whole board and healing back to 30. It's just a little bit inconsistent, but if he can just hit the Spirit Lash with the spell power card like Velen or Malagos, you're good. So.
Yeah, I mean, so that's our first final.